It's the Vintage Spoon Wrestling Podcast. We talk Raw's 25th anniversary and make some predictions for the Royal Rumble. Hello and welcome to a special Royal Rumble edition and a 25th anniversary Raw edition of the Vintage Spoon Wrestling Podcast. I'm Dan Thompson, I am Spoon. I am joined, as always, by the Manhattan Centre to my Barclays Centre, Vintage Benjamin Shelley. How are you doing?
Yay, American Arena references I don't get.
Anyone who wants to think, we've got it. You just got back from training. Busy night?
It was quite a relaxed night, actually. The thing is, they were recording us doing head nip-ups or head flips.
Oh, nice.
Which I was actually managing to do, so I was hoping to be able to see it back again. But we were doing a few holds as well, so we did some sharpshooters and some figure fours as well, and we did an octopus as well. That was quite fun.
That's pretty cool. How's your sharpshooter? Is it sort of on the scale of Bret Hart to The Rock?
It's probably I'm not going to use it.
Vintage shooter, and of course as well we're joined by Ross Harmston. Ross, how you doing?
Yes, I'm very good. Got a bit of a cough, but I'm good.
Hey,
I'm very good.
We're all a little under the weather at the moment. We were going to record a preview show for the 25th edition of Raw that aired last night, but unfortunately we've all been hit by the nasty flu. I got to get a ride in an ambulance last week, so one of many things I have in common with Roman Reigns.
Well, I'm disappointed it didn't get flipped over, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was looking for Braun the whole way out the little windows.
Just showing he's not finished.
It's not finished with you yet, definitely.
Clearly not. But we are back now, and that means we can talk about some of the stuff that's happened and some of the stuff that is gonna be happening in the next few weeks. We're going to start it off, of course, with a bit of news, which you may have heard by now. It is literally just broken. It is.
Before we start that, though, Spoon,
right.
I'm going to derail you because I'm going to add our new segment.
Oh God! Right. Okay.
and maybe in editing / post-production, you might be able to give me a jingle or something for my new segment I'm adding.
All right. What's the new segment?
It is On This Day in Wrestling.
Nice. All right. What happened on this day in wrestling?
Right, so we're recording on the 23rd of January.
We are, yes.
2018. Yeah. And on this day, back in 2000, was a Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Okay.
Do you remember the 2000 one by chance? It was a really good one.
I don't remember the 2000 Rumble.
You will as soon as I start telling you what happens.
Okay.
Taz made his debut against Kurt Angle.
I do remember that. Yeah. That was great.
And he got choked out, didn't he?
He did get choked out because he was undefeated at this point as well, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. This was my favourite Royal Rumble, like for ages.
Yeah, it's a really sweet one. And then the kind of main event, not including the Rumble, was Triple H versus Cactus Jack in a street fight.
Oh God, yeah, I do remember that. That was brutal.
And he had the massive, and he had the massive laceration on his leg from the barbed wire.
Yeah. That was pretty much Triple H becoming a main eventer. That was the thing that cemented him as a big time player.
It was.
The tag match, I think, with Jeff Hardy versus the
Dudleys.
Devon. The Dudleys was really good as well.
Yeah, well remembered because I remember that.
Very nice. Good top facts. Yeah. There you go. That's what you choose the show for.
Who won the Rumble?
Probably
The Rock.
Well done, The Rock did it. I had to guess The Rock because I remembered the WrestleMania was the McMahon in every corner, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was a disappointment, that one.
So Big Show was about to throw him over and he grabbed onto the rope and Big Show fell out.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Because I think there was Rock did a promo where he badmouthed pretty much every wrestler, and then as soon as he came in, everyone just beat the crap out of him, which was quite fun.
And more importantly, Mae Young won the Miss Royal Rumble 2000 swimsuit competition.
Oh,
yeah,
joy.
that was disgusting
to remember.
And then in non WWE news, do we know Rockstar Spud?
Yes. Yeah, I know.
He won the British boot camp on this date in 2013.
Oh wow, this is getting niche references. This is super wrestling pub trivia.
And do you know? And the thing is, I watched this as well, like a couple of years ago. Do you know who else was? Because basically, it was Spud. It was a pair of female wrestlers who were twin sisters, and another male British wrestler who also made it through,
Okay.
who Spud beat. Do you
Yeah.
know who that was by any chance?
2000.
Dunno.
Don't.
No, don't worry if you don't. Party Marty Skrull.
Marty Scarl.
As Party Marty, we had the villain gimmick.
Party Marty. That's excellent.
Yeah, he was doing like a really. I think he was supposed to be a face, but he was a really annoying face.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that's the end of the On This Day in Wrestling
On This Day in
segment.
Wrestling. Nice new segment. That's what you tune into this show for, is for top wrestling trivia and segments getting derailed with no notice whatsoever.
Yeah, maybe we should have told you that before we start recording, but
It's not like we did do a briefing. So let's talk. Let's do a quick bit of news because it does affect the rest of the show. Enzo Amore has, with immediate effect, been released by the WWE. They put a notice out on Twitter about an hour or so ago, informing us that's happened. There has been an allegation of a very serious sexual assault against Enzo. Should note that we don't know anything beyond that at the moment. He hasn't been formally charged at the time of recording, but WWE have gone ahead. They initially suspended him, and now they have completely released him. So he is gone. He is out of the picture. So we don't know what is happening with the Cruiserweight title at this stage. There is a good chance, I would imagine, that it will have some kind of development on 205 when that records later on tonight. But for the purposes of this, when we do our predictions, we're not going to be including the Cruiserweight title in that because we don't quite know what's going to be going on with that right now. It also means that the Royal Rumble is one match lighter, so presumably something else will get thrown in there for that at some point. But interesting developments, at least. I think Enzo was a mixed bag as a talent. He was an interesting character. And certainly had a lot of ups and downs since being split from Big Cass. I'm not sure this necessarily changes an awful lot for WWE in terms of other things. I don't feel like removing him affects things too badly. So we'll just have to sort of see how that plays out. I don't really want to dwell too much on the Enzo news because we don't know a lot about the actual situation itself. And it feels like you get into sort of murky territory with it.
I think that one thing I will add is that the real crying shame about this all is that we lost Neville because of how Enzo was being booked. And now we've lost Enzo too.
Yeah, it's gone. Well, you know, maybe if some of your hopes hold true, maybe the Neville question isn't completely dead in the water. We'll have to,
maybe it's even more likely now.
Yeah, well, perhaps. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But also in the news, what happened last night was the 25th anniversary show, the 25th anniversary edition of Monday Night Raw, which is held simultaneously in the Barclays Center and the Manhattan Center in New York. Two different shows in two different arenas. I think we've all been watching it today or watch it live. What did we think of the show overall? Any particular bits jump out? What do you think, Ross?
Meh. It was very meh. I liked the beginning. I liked the beginning of it was really good. I liked the promo segment they did of all of the WWE and Raw over the last 25 years, which was cool. And they put a lot of things in there that I didn't think that they would. They put a clip of CM Punk, which was odd.
And it was the pipe bomb as well. Specifically the pipe.
That was a cool little segment. And then obviously the Stone Cold segment was really good, and it started off really I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it sort of petered out, and the bits when they cut to the Manhattan center bit was just a bit lackluster, and it was just a bit all over the place, and I don't know. I liked I liked seeing Undertaker in like his old gear. Well, I say old gear, his like different gear. Um, I just don't know if that promo that he did added anything. It didn't really make me go, oh, Undertaker's gonna come back. He's gonna be in the Royal Rumble. It kind of just made me go, yeah, is that? I mean, nothing's really changed. He's not pumped anyone up to think that he's coming back, and also he shouldn't come back because his farewell was so good.
Yeah.
Like his leaving the coat and the hat on, unless because he's wearing something different now. Is this a different Undertaker now that we're seeing?
Well, he wasn't wearing
he,
the hat or the gloves, crucially, or the coat.
is he wear? Is this the hood thing? Is he going to put that in the Royal Rumble after he loses or something? And then he's going to come out as the American Badass.
Oh my God,
and
can you imagine?
Then he's going to put the motorbike in a grave, and he's going to leave.
And then he comes back as Dude Love.
Yeah.
I think that was certainly Taker was the big letdown for a lot of people. I think that was what we were all expecting it to come and set something up. I think I was certainly expecting it to involve some kind of thing with Cena. I know Ross, you and I were watching it sort of together at the same time and messaging each other during it. And I was convinced when he appeared at the start of the show in Manhattan, it was so that he could get across town to the Barclays Center and he was going to appear in the ring at the end of the thing there and chokeslam Cena or something like that and set something up. But it felt less like a wrestling promo and more like a sort of a reluctant appearance at a comic convention by a retired wrestler. It was kind of sad to see that. Yeah. It really didn't. I didn't see what it was about. I don't know. Vintage, what did you think of the show?
Yeah, I think you guys have pretty much covered it, and we were kind of talking about this earlier. But essentially, it's like you say, it felt like he needed to do something because he was there. Because it wasn't a case that you could just put him out on the stage and not have him do anything and just stand there. And you couldn't put him in the poker segment. So I mean, what was there left for him? So he had to cut a promo, and it's like, well, he can cut a promo, but then, like you say, there was nothing for him to cut a promo on because he didn't have to hype an upcoming match. He didn't have to push a feud because they've got nothing lined up for him. So he literally just came out and said words. And I think, if anything, that promo just seals the fact that he is retired and he's not coming back.
Yeah, it does seem like it, doesn't it?
I was annoyed about the end of the feud of Hardy and Bray Wyatt. That was a bit of an odd. That it's. I assume it's over now.
Yeah, that's a worry.
Yeah.
Like
the thing is, though, that the crowd was so dead for that as well, and there was and that feud was going nowhere either. No one was buying into it.
Yeah, he was just frantically doing his delete to try and do. It didn't help that you had Jim Ross and King on commentary, neither of which seemed to know what the feud was about or who the characters involved in it were or anything, and weren't really selling it. The whole thing just seemed a bit. I mean, none of the matches were great. Apparently, most of the fans, or a significant number of the fans from the Manhattan Center part of the show were very angry, and there have been a lot of requests for refunds. People paid up to $800 for a ticket. And they saw very little, a few promos, a couple of matches, none of which were more than about 10 minutes long. They had, for most of the show, they were either just watching on screens. There's footage from from fans' phones of the crowd chanting bullshit.
Bleep.
The segments. We can do a bleep now. I can put a bleep in. There's there's a lot of stuff like that seems to have been, and they had like some 205 guys come out and do matches, dark matches for it. At the end of the show, Miz and Seth Rollins came out, and Miz shouted at the crowd, and then Seth gave him a curb stomp to send people home happy. I just wasn't. It wasn't a good show, and crucially, it was a very bad go home show. We've got the Royal Rumble in a few days, and this did nothing for it really, other than a sort of a 10-minute segment or less than that segment at the end of just a generic. The guys at the main event all come together and have a bit of a fight at the very end of the show.
Very disappointing. But then again, I guess if you're going to celebrate the 25 years of Raw, then you might as well recycle one of the oldest storylines in the book.
That's fair. It's a shame. I just wanted to see Taker kidnap Stephanie again. The Austin McMahon segment was great. Vince looks really old.
Yeah, he really does. All of a sudden,
the first time you've sort of thought, actually, he's an old man now. And some of the others did it. Some of the other people do as well. God bless X-Pac, his voice.
That's a lot of drinking and drugs that will do that to your voice.
There's something worrying in a segment where Scott Hall is not the most unhealthy looking person in the room.
Well, he's on DDP yoga now, so
exactly. Yeah, he looked pretty good. Hall looked pretty great. Okay, so that was the
shame that the Revival had to literally be stomped on.
Oh god. Yeah, they are they're the Ascension now, aren't they? They're going to be they'll be in Fashion Files within a few months. Because it's not like they need tag teams in Raw's tag team division. That was a bit of a mess. So, do we have anything else to say about 25th edition of Raw? Or
Randy Orton?
Oh,
we can't forget about Randy Orton.
I did forget about Randy Orton.
So did WWE, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Randall Keith Orton was not on the show anywhere. And apparently, did you say his wife's been venting about it?
Yeah, she took to Twitter and basically complained because she said, besides Kane and Triple H and Undertaker, Randy's been on more shows than anyone else. So why has he not been invited to the Raw 25, basically?
True, I guess. I would have assumed that he just asked for the night off. But if he's complaining about it, then I guess he wasn't booked.
Well, his wife was complaining; it wasn't even him.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Maybe he's been slightly forgotten since he's been over on SmackDown. It seems a bit of a strange one because he is such a company man. You'd think he would be there, and he is a big part of Raw. I was slightly surprised Batista wasn't there in sort of some kind of capacity because he supposedly is on good terms with the company now, but I guess maybe it's a scheduling thing.
And he's probably expensive as well.
That's true. It was nice to see Jericho in his Alpha shirt.
Yeah. Loved it.
That was really nice.
He was on form.
Yeah, I mean, pointless segment, but a nice bit.
Christian as well.
Christian, that was one of the two really, really good segments, I thought. Three including the McMahon bit, but two that really worked was Christian's Peep Show segment. A nice example of using an older guy, using one of the nostalgia things to actually further a storyline.
I'm surprised he didn't call out Edge. That would have been sweet.
Apparently, they said Edge couldn't be there because of a scheduling conflict. He was filming something, I think, so he couldn't make it.
He's probably recording a podcast because, to be fair, recording a podcast is very important.
Hey,
let's not forget that.
Incredibly important to record a podcast. It takes a lot of work.
Did you see the segue that they did leading up to AJ Styles' interview, where I can't remember what her name is. She went, and speaking of great, it's the phenomenal AJ Styles. But to make it, you just said he was great. His name's the phenomenal AJ Styles. Yeah, it was so weird.
Well, good thing they got Mean Gene in to replace her. God, Mean Gene must be like 80 something now.
Yeah.
They're, but that was really good, and of course, the IC title match was really good. I really enjoyed that. I was surprised by the finish. I thought it was a really good finish. The fact you really didn't notice the turnbuckle pad being removed until they replayed it at the end. It was a really nice use. I mean, Axel and I like that role of like henchman characters. But Dallas and Axel are just great at that, at just being the sleazy guys on the outside. And it means, IC belt is back where it belongs. Miz will certainly do more for the belt than Reigns.
I don't know if I could be excited about it because I want Miz to have a main event push.
There's no space for him in the main event. That's the thing. There's no space for anyone, so he might as well have a solid mid-card slot. Otherwise,
they're all getting injured now. It's okay.
Yeah, that's true. And who knows how long Brock's sticking around for? But for the moment, Miz is where he is, and did a good job at least. I guess he's in the Rumble. We'll see. So that was the 25th anniversary Raw show. It was in parts pretty fun, in parts really disappointing and a bit stupid, and in parts just very silly, which I suppose is a fitting tribute to Raw in a lot of ways. However, we don't need to look to the past, we need to look to the future, because coming up this Sunday it is the Royal Rumble, one of the most exciting events, often one of the most disappointing events in terms of the result in the last few years, but one of the most anticipated events of the year. And so, in our...
Do you want to do a quiz now?
All right, we're going to be interrupted and do a quiz.
Sorry, quiz time.
Oh, God, I hate these quizzes. All right, what are we doing?
Okay, to be fair, it's only a quick one this time round as well, because I've not had a chance to work on this one that much. It's only 5 questions.
700 different names for Gold Dust.
Oh, no, this is more of a traditional format. So this is 5 questions.
5 questions.
And considering that we've got the Royal Rumble coming up, I thought it was only apt that we should do an end-of-year quiz.
Of course.
Nice.
Sorry, I can resist. Okay, so it's very, very simple premise. Okay. I'm going to tell you things that happened in WWE, and you need to tell me if they happened in 2017 or 2016.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So who wants to go first?
Go on, Ross.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay. Pick a number from 1 to 5.
3.
Charlotte and Sasha Banks compete in a 30-minute Iron Woman match for the War Women's title.
16. Oh,
Spoonie?
2016. Yeah.
What did you say, Spoonie?
Yeah, it's definitely their feud was 2016.
It was December 18th, 2016.
Yay.
Right, Spoonie, your choice. 1, 2, 4 or 5?
4.
205 Live premieres for the first time.
Ooh, that's... I think that premiered in 2017. I think that was right at the start of 2017.
Ah, when was the brand split? Yeah, I'll say 17 as well.
That was November 29th, 2016.
Damn it! I knew it took them a while after the Cruiserweight Classic. I can't remember how long.
Okay,
Right.
Ross, 1, 2 or 5?
1.
Kevin Owens competes against Roman Reigns whilst Chris Jericho is suspended above the ring in a shark cage.
17.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that yesterday. It was right in 2017.
It was January 29th.
It's not
So
a bad
that's
match,
2-1
actually.
to...
No.
Yeah, it's alright. So it's going to be good. So, It's 2-1 Spoonie at the moment, and it's Spoonie's turn, I
All right.
think.
Well, how many numbers we got left? What we got?
2 and 5.
2.
Asuka defeats Mickey James for the NXT Women's Championship. So you might have an unfair advantage on this one, Spoon, because you watched this crap.
Asuka didn't defeat Mickey James for the NXT Women's Championship. Oh, but in a title match.
In a title match, sorry.
Okay, cool. She beat Bailey. I think she beat Mickey James in 2016. I watched this one recently as well, but I can't quite.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
You watch all this crap.
It was Yes, it was 2016 because it was the takeover where DIY and Revival had their amazing match.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 16 as well.
I wonder why.
Any reason why, Ross? Just
I just had a gut feeling, I remember seeing that match.
I love his Spooner is just trolling you right now, but he's not. He's absolutely correct. November 19th, 2016.
Excellent.
No.
Okay, so back to Ross for the last question. So it's still 2-1 Spoonie. John Cena beats AJ Styles for the WWE Championship in his last reign as WWE Champion so far.
Repeat the question again?
The statement.
Yeah,
John Cena beats AJ.
Not the question. It's not the question.
John Cena beats AJ Styles for the WWE Championship in his last reign as WWE Champion so far.
17.
Yeah, that's the Rumble as well. That's 17.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's 3-2 to Spoon. I've actually kept track of scores as well.
Whoa. And then he dropped it to Bray
I don't
Wyatt
like
of all
this.
people. Do you remember that? Do you remember at the start of 2017 when Bray Wyatt was the world champion? I was like,
Yeah, because I thought he was going to win the. I thought he was going to win the Rumble, and then he didn't win the Rumble. And I was like, oh no, that's such a shame. And then he won the title instead to set up his WrestleMania match.
it was the weirdest. Like I said, I was rewatching this and I'd forgotten how good that Randy Orton storyline was to start with. Like when he was when he edged Luke Harper out of the Wyatt family, and he was clearly going to betray Bray, but Bray couldn't see it. And then it all just went bananas, and we got House of Horrors and the Bray's spooky
Projection
fridge.
Max.
I just remembered something. You told me actually a couple of days ago that you were rewatching the 2017 Royal Rumble, so I probably should have considered that when I was doing the quiz with Royal Rumble answer.
Yesterday. How the mighty have fallen. Bray, not us. So, predictions for the 2018 Royal Rumble, the first Vintage Spoon predictions video podcast of the year. We have got, that we know of, 6 matches confirmed, but we're also going to do an extra prediction for surprise entrants in each of the Rumbles. So there's going to be 8 predictions for us to get through. So let's start off with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Vintage, let's start with you. Who have you got and why?
Oh, this is a difficult one. So I think the clue here is that it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. So I think Usos are dropping the belts, and because obviously it's 2 out of 3 falls, so it has to be 2-1. And I think the idea is that Usos will get at least 1 fall, so that they still look strong.
Yeah,
I think that's the logic. I think that's the logic behind this. So yeah, I'm saying Gable and Benjamin. Ross, can you write down our predictions as we do them, so we can keep track of the scores?
So we've got. If only we were recording this or something.
Yeah.
While Russ is grabbing a pen, then I'll do my. I'm agreeing. I think Gable and Benjamin. I think the Usos have had a really good run, but I think they've had the belts for ages now. It doesn't do anything to keep it on them. Gable and Benjamin need to win it at this stage, having won and lost, and the logical thing is for them to pick up the win. Obviously the Usos will get a fall at some point, because that's the point of a 2 out of 3 falls match. I don't think there's ever been a 2 out of 3 falls match that's gone in straight numbers. But yeah, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin for this one. Ross, who are you picking?
I'm going to go for the Usos. I'm going to say that they're going to retain. I think,
Swerve.
yeah, I just think I would like to see if they, can progress the story a little bit better. If Chad Gable did win, Chad and Thingy did win, but I don't know. I think the Usos are going to retain. I think they're going to. It's going to go obviously one apiece, and then there's either going to be another weird, maybe another ref call, like another weird ref call or something that will mean that they have to. Well, the Usos win. So yeah, I'm going to go for Usos.
Okay. Which takes us to the Raw Tag Team Championships. Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus The Bar in a crazily, for this pay-per-view, a match with no stipulations, a regular tag team match. Ross, who have you got and why?
So, I'm gonna say the Seth and Chad, Seth and whatever his name is, Jason
Angle
Jordan.
Jr.
That's it. Jace, they're gonna retain. Or actually, no, I'm gonna change my answer just then because
Okay.
I just thought of something. So the Bar's probably gonna win, and something is gonna happen between Seth and Jason
That
Jordan.
guy.
Yeah,
That guy. His partner.
That guy.
I'm really
Yeah.
digging Jason Jordan at the moment. I think he's doing a great job as at being hated. He's really tapped into the fact that the crowd hate him, and he's using that really well. I think he's doing a good job. I think they're going to retain. I think Seth and Jordan are going to pull it off. There will be some kind of miscommunication, and I think they'll develop that story. But for nothing else, I don't see them putting the belts back on the Bar right now. If only because I don't think that Cesaro is healthy enough to be a champion. Sheamus, rather, yeah. I think they're still trying to rest him a little bit. So I think one big match, finish the feud, and then they're going to rest Sheamus for a while. What do you think, Vintage?
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same as you. There's no way they can put the belts back. There's no way they can put the belts back on the Bar, so they have to retain, really.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win. Guaranteed.
So
You're just desperate for points at this point.
It's us versus Ross at the moment.
That's because Ross is wrong, unfortunately, and we're right.
Yeah,
You wait.
well, we'll see about this.
Yeah, I'm just going for the opposite one because I feel that we have to have one person that goes for the opposite. I'll be the full guy. It's fine. I'll be the jobber. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, to be fair, he's spoony, so he needs a break.
Teamed up. This is retribution for the fact that you messaged me while I was in hospital, ill, and said, "Looks like it's the Vintage Ross Wrestling podcast now."
To be fair, if you didn't make it, that we would have to rebrand this show because we couldn't call it the Vintage Spoon show anymore, could we?
I mean, how would people understand the show if it wasn't called after a ring name I had at wrestling school when I was 17?
Which only I call you.
Which only you call me, yes. Which takes us to now the WWE Championship match: AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a handicap match. AJ Styles versus Cammy, which they're really trying to get as a thing. They're really trying to make Cammy happen, and I'm not sure it's going to. I guess I'll start on this one. I think they're gonna go with Owens and Zayn. I can see that happening. I don't see how keeping it on Styles necessarily furthers the storyline of Daniel Bryan and Shane, which, let's face it, is the story. And I think it's too tempting a thing for them to do something with co-champions. I think they want to have a crack at playing around with that, and then they'll sort it out. They're not going to go to Mania with co-champions, but they'll put it on both of them, and then they'll do something with it in between the Rumble and Mania. I don't know if Elimination Chamber's a SmackDown one this year or not, but they'll do something to get it off them and put it on somebody else for Mania. So yeah, I think Owens and Zayn are going to win. Vintage.
Yeah, I think the stipulation's just too silly for SmackDown writers not to bite the hand off and just go ahead with it, because it's just SmackDown silliness at its finest, isn't it? So yeah, I reckon it's going to be
Ooh,
Cammy.
Totally tied. Completely tied so far. Ross, are you going to swerve it?
Not gonna swerve this one. This one I'm
No
not. I'm gonna.
balls. No balls.
All
I'm
going-
gonna say Cammy, yeah,
None
as well
of
for
us
exact same
believe in
reasons.
AJ. Oh man.
I just think
okay.
it would be much. I could see them doing a thing where. I don't know if they're going to do that thing where they're going to both. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan are going to come out again, and they're going to go, no, that's not how this is going to go. You're going to do it this way, and then yeah, probably Cammy's going to like win out of that. I don't know.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So Universal Championship match. The match we all want to see, the match we've been looking forward to forever. It's Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman versus everyone's favourite slightly tubby mayor from hell, Kane, with his weird outfit that makes him look like he's wearing a tie. He's sort of barely hanging out. But he's a monster. You know, he's pretty dangerous. Let's start,
Oh.
Ross. Who is going to win the Universal Championship match?
It depends on. It's always. I always have to like think about them like long, because it depends on what their plan is for the future. Because obviously, I reckon. I don't know if they're gonna. I think that Brock Lesnar is gonna win, so I say Brock Lesnar purely because they're either gonna keep it on Brock until he fights Roman, or I can't see them giving it to anyone else yet. I definitely wouldn't ever see them put on Kane at all.
Are you sure?
So
I mean, they did it. They swerved us with Ziggler last time. We thought he was there to eat the pin.
that's true, but I will go with Braun. I would go with Brock.
Gonna go with Brock.
Brock Lesnar.
That's probably sensible. Vintage.
Yeah, I think Brock's retaining, and I think in this instance, Kane is definitely there just to eat the pin. I think there's no other logical explanation, because they're booking Braun so strong, but he can't win this match because it's Brock at WrestleMania. So
Yeah, it's that.
they've got to book themselves into a corner now.
Yeah.
Is the worst open secret in wrestling is the WrestleMania main event is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. So Brock has to keep the title. There's no, it's got to be Brock Lesnar. Things are getting.
I will say this thing. Sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, we'll say this. I mean, like a couple of years ago, they wouldn't have thought to have the third man in there to eat the pin, so that the guy they're building doesn't lose all this momentum. They're actually considering, let's not kill Braun's momentum. Let's keep him strong.
Yeah,
which is better,
positive.
but still not great.
I mean, given that it was gonna be Lesnar versus Balor, that should have been. That's much more exciting than this. I'm really not excited about this. I don't think Kane adds any kind of interesting element to this.
He adds a pinfall.
He adds a pinfall. Yeah, he has an easy pinfall. This maybe should have been the match back when Thingy was there. But I don't know what Kane's even. I don't know what Kane's doing there in this kind of retirement run. Like, he should be having kind of one final run and calling it a day, but he's kind of in the main event and no one really buys it, and it's just awful. I'm not a fan. So we've all said Brock. That's fair enough. I think that's the easy one. Which takes us to the Women's Royal Rumble match. So we have two predictions for this one. Everyone is going to get a prediction of one surprise entrant that they think is going to show up somewhere in the match, and we're also going to try and pick the winner of that match. So let's start us off with vintage. Who's your surprise entrant, and who do you think is going to win the match?
Well, the thing is, the surprise entrance I thought was a slam dunk because I was just going to go Lita, but the fact she was on Raw 25 really worries me.
That's true.
Unless that's the swerve that the whole reason she wasn't on there was because she's supposed to be a surprise entrance in the Rumble. But in theory, if they have her and Trish, then it would have made more sense to have Lita on Raw 25 without Trish, and then Trish in the Rumble. So I think I'll go Lita as my surprise entrant.
Okay.
Wrestle, I think, so it makes sense.
And who's your winner?
So I really struggle with the brand split so much because I think the brand split just ruins this. Because it's a case of, are they going to acknowledge it? Because if they don't, it's weird. And if they do, it really cuts down their booking choices.
Yeah. The trouble with the women's one is that kind of the prize is you get a title match. But if you're in the women's division in WWE, you get a title match by just kind of being there anyway, because there aren't enough. So eventually you just get a title match just because there's not enough stuff going on in a week. So it's
as long as you're not in a stable.
Yeah.
But the women's division in both Raw and SmackDown has been really hampered by those two stables.
Yes, definitely.
And then Paige got injured, and it's such a mess. Yeah. And it's really upsetting because they had the Women's Revolution, and we had such good women's wrestling, and now they're just being booked as, let's see how many we can get or in the match. See how many women we can get in a match they get on the TV show each week.
Yeah.
It's just really depressing. But that aside, I was thinking... Tamina's not a bad shout.
But, James Ellsworth?
Yeah, if he hadn't been released, I would have definitely said James Ellsworth. But the thing is, my head says Sasha Banks, but she's Raw. Sasha makes most sense because then you can have like. The thing is, with this, because it's the very first one, it feels like Vince would play it safe and have someone like Sasha win it. But because she's Raw, I can't pick her, so I'm silly, and I'm just going to pick Carmella.
Carmella, no. So she'd be a Rumble and Money in the Bank winner. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean that. So I pretty much, maybe I'm saying this because I just want to see it, and because she's rapidly going to the top of my list of favorite WWE female wrestlers.
She's good. She's doing some very funny segments on Facebook with New Day to promote the Mixed Match Challenge, because I think she's teaming with Big E, and they've been doing training videos on Facebook, and they're worth looking at.
I don't get why they're putting faces and heels together in those mixed tag matches, but
they don't make a lot of sense. Like Asuka and Miz's videos are hilarious. It's just Miz being a bit scared of her and not understanding Japanese, but still trying to cut his kind of shoot promos. It's really funny.
Okay, so Lita and Carmella.
Lita and Carmella, good choices. Ross, what do you reckon? Surprise entrant.
So,
winner.
Surprise entrant is probably going to be Ronda Rousey. That's probably going to be my one, because I just think that they're going to try and there's going to be a bit where I don't know if they're going to get all the women from the UFC, the ones that were, because they did that face-off, didn't I think? Yeah, the Horsewomen. They did the face-off. I think it was at WrestleMania outside in the car park or something. Ronda Rousey and
Classic,
the Mae Young Classic, and I don't know if they've signed any of the other two ladies. But I'm not the other two ladies. I mean the other lady. What's her name? The other one, not the one that was in the Mae Young Classic.
Not
Shayna Baszler.
I don't know the other two. Shayna Baszler's the one who's already signed. Who's definitely doing it.
I just got an image of them facing off against
Bailey and Sasha and Charlotte. Well, Charlotte won't be the match,
so I got an image of them like facing off against Ronda Rousey. But so her, and then the winner probably be Asuka.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of. She's certainly been billed as the favourite. She's
Yeah,
been billed
they
as
probably
like,
will do a swerve on it, but
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that put me off Asuka is that
Um,
she can't compete at WrestleMania for the SmackDown belt because she's going to be competing for the Raw belt, surely.
yeah. But that's fine. She can compete
Yeah.
for the Raw belt. The thing is, she's already kind of the number one contender on Raw, so it's less of a thing
Exactly.
if she wins it.
to be honest, whoever it is, I know that Carmella's definitely going to cash in at WrestleMania. I reckon.
Yeah, I think so.
She doesn't need to. She's got a title shot in here. Because that's the other thing as well, is that she could get the title shot, lose it, and then immediately cash in.
Yeah, that'd be quite a
that'd
cool
be quite
thing.
fun. That'd be a good use of it.
I'm looking. I'd happily be a writer for WWE. I think it'd be a sweet job.
Yeah,
Because there's always the chance she could cash in tonight, and then it's Charlotte that goes into the Rumble and wins it, which gives them their kind of they love putting Charlotte as the winner of stuff.
yeah.
But
I quite like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's quite fun. I'm going to go for Ross. You stole my surprise entrant because I still think that's going to happen. Although nothing's been announced, but you'd think they'd promo it if she was going to do it. But
Yeah.
but then they
The thing that really puts me off is that she's just not had any ring time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she might be able to. You don't necessarily.
I don't think she's definitely not going to be in there for long. She'll go in there she'll do one thing, like maybe the thing that she did to Stephanie McMahon, and then she'll probably get thrown out or something will happen.
Yeah, maybe.
But then she looks really weak. Then though, here's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Depends. I mean,
Actually,
a hard one.
They got to make sure she doesn't hurt anyone as well.
Yeah.
it's possible to be in there for not very long and seem strong. If you eliminate a few people and then get, if Asuka or someone threw her out, I could see it working.
Yeah.
But then they'd have to have a match. I think surprise entrant Santino Marella. I think he'll come running down in his gown and just immediately get clotheslined out. It'll be like an in joke about them putting men in women's matches. I could see them doing it.
Plus, they've not got enough women to fill a 30-women rumble either.
So long as he gets in as long as they get in and are immediately just thrown back out again, especially since he has the record for the shortest time in the men's rumble.
I was going to say that
record for the shortest time in the women's rumble as well. That could be kind of funny.
I was just thinking that.
And my winner is Ronda Rousey, which I know is a risk.
You're all
she's in it,
aren't you?
but I think they've got an eye on Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. The worry is you cannot discount Stephanie McMahon booking herself to come in at number 30 and win it. She would do that. God, I hope she doesn't, but you can't. Yeah, that's a possibility.
I could see it coming out of 30, but not winning it.
Oh God, yeah, getting thrown out. 29 and Ronda throws her out, or I don't know. We'll have to see. So, which takes us to the main event, which for the first time in it seems like forever isn't about Shane McMahon, although he might show up.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the men's Royal Rumble match. So we'll do the same thing: surprise entrant and a winner. The surprise entrant, there's a lot of possibles here. I mean, there are every year. I think the interesting thing we have to talk about is that over the weekend, the odds on Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble suddenly shortened from something like 60-1 down to 4-1. Bookies' odds tend to be an indicator of something happening. That's not the smart money. The smart money doesn't come in until about an hour before the show, when actual results start getting leaked, or the boys backstage start putting in bets, and then the bookies realise and the odds change. That's where you can usually tell what's going to happen. So this is too early to say for sure, but certainly some kind of information has been leaked. that has made the bookies feel they have to shorten the odds on Daniel Bryan, being in the Rumble and in fact winning it, which is interesting. I don't think it's going to happen. I still think it's too early. I feel like it would be too big a thing to have been kept secret. Someone would have talked by now, if that were going to happen. More likely, I think the surprise entrant is what I talked about on the last show. I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre. I think he's going to be called up to the main roster rather than going back to NXT. There's nothing for him in NXT. They need another big main event guy on the main roster, probably for SmackDown. So I think he will come up and he will put on a good show, get eliminated, and then immediately be called up to SmackDown. As for the winner, I was hoping to get a bit more clarity at the Raw show. We didn't find out anything, and so it's not hugely exciting, and I hope I'm wrong on this. Nakamura, it should be said, is still the favourite at the bookies at the time of recording, but I'm gonna go with Cena. I think John Cena, even though the last few things he's done have been massively disappointing and haven't gone anywhere and haven't meant anything, and have been total wastes of time. His Survivor Series appearance, his weird shot where he had his 2 appearances where he's just feuded with Elias for no reason. I have a feeling that Vince is still not completely convinced that AJ Styles can headline a WrestleMania. Not that the WWE title match is going to be headlining WrestleMania. But I think now that the match with Undertaker is looking less likely, I think they're going to have Cena win the Royal Rumble, and they're going to do the story of him challenging to beat Ric Flair's record against a heel, maybe Kevin Owens, at Mania. I hope I'm wrong. Because that's as uninteresting as Randy winning last year. But yeah, I think Drew McIntyre and John Cena. Ross, who have you got and why?
So, I mean, there's quite a lot of surprise entrants that I've been thinking about. Mine is Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
I think it's not founded on any facts. I haven't looked up if he's doing anything,
He's left Impact.
I just think, has he?
Yeah, he has left.
This is reason, Dan. I knew that already. I definitely knew that. So that's why I picked him. And the winner is going to be Dolph Ziggler.
Nice. That would be.
I reckon, because Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So this is my thought. So Elimination Chamber's Raw, I think, this year.
Okay.
I think it's Raw, which means they're going to do a number 1 contender Elimination Chamber match where Roman Reigns will win that to go on to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So it leaves it probably going to be a SmackDown belt, and I just think that his weird thing where he left the belt on the floor, feel there's something. There might be some sort of surprise. I think it would be a really cool surprise as well, because I think it'd be a massive. Everyone would be like, "What?" And it was either going to be him or Shinsuke Nakamura. But then I was like, I don't know if Asuka wins the women's, I don't know if they'll have Shinsuke win the men's as well.
Yeah.
So I think those are my choices.
The pop, if Ziggler's music hits, it will be a huge pop.
It doesn't have music.
Yeah, if it's the proper music, not the record scratch.
It would start and then go.
It won't make much sense. It would be disappointing because you'd get a big pop and then you'd be like, oh wait, no, he walked off in like a strop like a week ago. It's not like he's a mega return, but it would be interesting, and he's the sort of person that could do it. So Bobby Lashley, I suspect is not actually out of. I think his contract is probably won't quite be up in time for Rumble, but you never know. EC3, I think, is a better shout in terms of.
I was probably gonna.
stuff.
I'll
But
also say Funaki as well.
Funaki, I love Funaki.
We'll give you Funaki for free.
Indeed, and Dolph Ziggler, and bring us home then, Vintage. Who's your surprise entrant and who's your winner?
Well, I'm all disappointed. I'm really disappointed with you guys because you didn't get on my level
Oh,
for the surprise entrant.
what level is
And
that?
it's the Neville level, obviously.
Yeah.
It's got to be Neville, surely.
Oh, that'd be so good.
It's got to be. What else is he going to do besides go in the Royal Rumble?
But then
He's under contract. He's physically fit. For him to return and start a feud with someone. Maybe I'm just predicting with my heart rather than my head again, but it just makes sense. And he's still on. I'm looking at the WWE Superstars page, and he's still on there. So,
are you not worried that with Enzo gone, that they'll put him back into the cruiserweight division?
I think before the whole Enzo thing, I think back before Christmas, he probably agreed something with creative to say, "Yeah, I'll stay here as long as you give me something good on the main roster. I can't see him go back to 205." I think that's the whole thing. Is he goes into the Rumble and he's on the main roster and he gets a feud.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd love that. And who's your winner?
I was just going to say as well, Neville's quite cheap as well, so there's also the opportunity that he never goes back on TV ever again.
True.
Because they don't mind paying him.
Yeah.
And not doing anything. Right, so my winner. I did go down a deep dark hole thinking it might be Finn Balor, thinking the whole not headlining Royal Rumble was going to be a complete swerve and him win the Rumble and then go on to WrestleMania for the title shot. Because that'd be clever booking. And it's also very reminiscent of the New Japan storyline where they had Naito was booked in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom a couple of years ago, and then he was decided he wasn't the guy, so he got pushed off the main event, and then that made him work harder, and then got on the main event for Wrestle Kingdom just gone. Speaking of New Japan, my pick is actually going to be Chris Jericho.
Ooh, very
and
interesting.
And I wasn't going to go that way until he was on Raw 25.
Okay.
And I think it's this if he wins the Rumble, because then he's going to be on WrestleMania, and all the Japanese fans are going to tune into WrestleMania to see Chris Jericho in a title shot.
Ooh, and it would theoretically be against Kevin Owens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're doing there. That's interesting.
Do you think that we're going to see Omega?
No, not a chance.
No.
He's got it too good where he is.
Yeah, maybe in a year or so, but you might do a year or so. He might come to WWE just for a bit, but I don't think he's got any need to right now.
I think he'll AJ it. I think he'll stick another 5 years in New Japan and then come to WWE when he's worth a lot more money and doesn't have to work as hard.
Yeah. Well, the one thing we know for sure is that we won't see CM Punk. Sorry, it's got to be said. Gonna kill those dreams. We'll see Kurt do a handstand, and we'll see some.
Might see Kurt Angle.
Jack Gallagher's fabulous burn on Twitter.
That was good.
It's announced CM Punk will get another chance at UFC, and Jack Gallagher tweeted, "Well, he doesn't have an opponent. I've got 2 minutes to spare." Sure, that's cold. But Gallagher's a legitimate badass. I think there'll be some interesting people in the Rumble. I'm excited. I think we've got potential for a good show this year.
Kurt Angle will be in the Rumble, I reckon.
I guess. Someone will get injured maybe, and he'll have to go in, or his son will throw him out, or I don't know.
And now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, how if people think that Daniel Bryan will win, how would that make? Like, would it then be Shane McMahon? Because I only see it
win the world title. and it would be Bryan versus Shane.
Which is what all the marks want, to be fair.
I don't know why people want to see that match. Why people want to see Shane McMahon versus Daniel Bryan. I would love to see anyone else versus Daniel Bryan, just not Shane McMahon, wheezing in the corner of the turnbuckle as he's
Sweating.
Yeah.
When Stone Cold came down at the 25th show and got in, everyone kind of got out of his way, and Shane kind of did his little skip out of the way, like that's how he walks, just normally, like he's a creator character, and someone's just set that as his walk, so he's always just bouncing around everywhere.
To be fair, Vince did the Vince walk to the ring as well.
Yeah, he did. Amazing.
Bless him. Oh god, that was a good segment. Well, that's a positive place to end it. Remembering the good part of Raw 25. Thank you very much for listening. We will be back after the Royal Rumble to talk about how our predictions went down, how the show went down, and where we will be next on the road to WrestleMania. Can't believe I just said that.
Thanks to Paul and Paul's cat for listening.
Thank you to Paul and Paul's cat. Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Vintage. My name's Dan Spoon. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Hear us next time.
Bye.